Hello and welcome to Tools in the Shed, a podcast powered by CarsGuide, and we're ready to rip into car stuff this week as we do every single week. I'm Matt, filling in for James in the hosting seat this week, and with me is Tom.
Hello.
Who has just returned from Europe after sampling a new segment-shifting small SUV from Mercedes. And Richard.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Who has been out testing some new top-secret electrified Toyotas and finding out about some even more secret ones. What's the buzz about?
Electric.
Oh, you'll tell us about the buzz.
Right. Oh, yeah.
We'll also chat about some of the other cars we've been driving recently and check in with everyone's favourite mother trucker in this week's MuskWatch. So stay with us. First of all, though, we always have a look at some of the feedback that we've received. And last week we got some interesting ones. Ian Thomas said, "Great show as usual, men." Men. Pointing out men.
Plural.
I think this is an important point
We are men,
for this comment.
aren't we?
Just one thing.
What?
Presenter Miss Stelio has not appeared on the show before.
Yeah, it's true.
Is Miss Stelio not a journalist with CarsGuide? Or CarGuide, as he wrote? Please explain. Well, she's not a journalist with CarGuide, but she is a journalist for CarsGuide, our family expert. We haven't actually had Nadal on the show. You're correct. We'll extend the invitation, see if she's interested. She might not want to put up with the comments from you guys. So
Would she even want to hang out in this room with us?
the shed is a little bit warm. It's a little bit
It is.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's no air conditioning. We couldn't afford it.
And it needs one of those air freshener things. Rear vision. It stinks in here.
Or is it the other problem? Do we have too many of them?
Oh,
Yeah, I
maybe-
think
maybe it's
JC's been stashing all his second-hand
Yes,
ones
I
in
don't
here.
know.
His cupboard over there has got a bunch of it.
Still the party hats from our 100th episode.
We're 11 episodes past that now.
Yeah, and still this room has not been cleared
That's
up.
what it's like. It's like Bachelor Party Part 4.
So we'll ask Nadal and see if she wants to come and join us. But thank you for pointing it out. DeCool K, I assume that I'm saying I'm right. It might be DeCool, but DeCool K, I'm going to say that.
I would go with
Sounds
the
like a
cool
rapper
K.
name.
Yeah.
It's a mad rapper name.
Thanks for the warm welcome, gentlemen, and the heads up on the Cybertruck reveal, because as you may remember, we were live just after the Cybertruck reveal, but we recorded just before it last week. So curiously waiting for your comments in the next MuskWatch, which we do have some comments. We'll get to that in a sec. But even more, I'm waiting for the affordable performance, hopefully in a staged approach. I'd love to see an Impreza GT Turbo Coupe, sort of a tribute to the 94 version. It could have a 1.6-litre turbo engine from the Lavorg and a sub 40k price tag. That would be a dream.
And a CVT transmission? Or
Do you know what? I love people with accessible dreams.
Yeah.
And that is an accessible dream.
that is an accessible dream.
Although I don't know that Subaru is really looking to make Impreza sporty.
No.
They have WRX for that. And the next generation WRX is going to be next year, 21. And it's going to have some important elements to its drivetrain. We hear some hybrid elements,
so.
potentially. And it might even be shared with a Toyota Celica body.
Really?
If the rumours are to be believed.
Get it?
Yeah.
I hear Lancer might be making a comeback.
Lancer?
Yeah. Evo.
Oh.
Yes.
As an
I
SUV.
don't know. Yeah, probably.
Possibly?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Mitsubishi's always talking about SUVs.
Although, if you want to see what a Lancer, if it were to be built today, looks like, go and Google the Mitsubishi Grand Lancer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it is made today.
Yeah, so
Totally.
the Lancer has had a facelift you can get in Taiwan and maybe some other markets, but it's called the Grand Lancer.
And it looks
And
cool.
It does look cool.
And it's got
It
good
looks
stuff.
really cool. Yeah.
Disappointing we
Bring
don't
it
get it.
here.
Is it disappointing we don't get it? I don't know.
Yes.
I think people would
Tell us what you think.
People would still buy it, and the thing is,
yeah.
they sold the Mitsubishi Lancer new. It was on their website. You could even look at it and everything, all up until early this year.
Producer Mr. Pritchard
There
just
it is.
Googled it and
We've
showed
got it.
himself the image,
What does
and
it
he
look
did a
like?
gag motion. So you can make up your own mind. Let us know in the comments section. We'll read out your feedback next
it's
week.
very dynamic shield. Just to
It is. It is. Hammer Rocks, as usual, had his say. We love Hammer Rocks.
Yes, we
He's
do.
always vocal.
number one fan.
Yikes. The Cybertruck looks like what a 5-year-old me would draw for a truck. But it looks like the Elon Musk or Tesla halo effect is working in overdrive with claims of over 146,000 deposits already received. Okay, that comment was a couple of days ago. The deposits is more than 250,000 now. We'll get to that in MuskWatch.
So they are $150, $100 pre-order orders, right?
Yes, we're going to talk about it more in MuskWatch.
Wow.
Save it, Richard.
I'm saving
We're
it.
save the rants.
I love to save
champing
it.
at the
Love to
bit.
save
But
it all up.
We are in electrico mode. So, Richard, tell us about what you've been driving this week.
Yes, I've been busy over the last couple of days. I've been driving the new Corolla hybrid sedan, which follows about 6 months after the hatch came out. And on the back of that, Toyota did a double launch. They double-decked it. They did a CHR launch as well. The CHR has been facelifted. It's been updated. And they've added a hybrid to the range as well. You'll be able to read the full review when it comes out on December 6th. And I've produced a couple of videos as well. The only little indication, the little hint for those who are watching on YouTube, or they've pirated it off some bloke down the pub. I'll hold that up. That was the Corolla sedan. That was in the Corolla sedan video, a little thing I did. I thought that was funny at the time. Whether it's funny in the video or not, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. It's still being edited.
For those who aren't watching, go to YouTube and watch because you need to see it to believe it. It's good. I like it.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
I did that freehand as well. Freehand.
I can't tell.
Look, I
would
still
never have known.
don't know if I'd. I still don't know if I'd get in one if it showed up.
You
but
would. You'd love it. First ride is free.
But a very fitting approach for that car.
Absolutely, because look, the boot's much bigger in the Corolla sedan than the hatch. The hatch, is 330 litres at the most, with the space over spare. This the boot in the sedan is 470 litres.
Wow.
Yeah.
And legroom in the back is really, really good, but legroom in the back of the CHR I found was better.
Really?
Yes, I did.
What?
Not headroom though.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Yeah.
And not vision out the window.
Oh, you can't see anything out of that back window. If your child is under the age of 45, they aren't going to be able to see out of that back window. Okay, so not a good family car.
it's quite claustrophobic in the back, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think what you said about the legrooms, it's true. I had one on road test not that long ago, and it's actually pretty impressive because it looks like it's going to be all coopy and small, and
It's not. It looks smaller on the outside than it is on the inside.
even the boot's not bad in CHR.
It's not too bad either. So I made 2 videos on those. Read about the driving impression in those. But look, I think a hybrid in a Corolla and a CHR, but particularly Corolla, makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay. The other engine is a 2-litre 4-cylinder, and what are you doing driving a Corolla with a petrol engine, a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine? Do you work for Shell or BP? Right? Seriously, a hybrid. It gets we did a drive out of Melbourne all the way to the Yarra Valley, so got a really good combination of bumper to bumper horrible Melbourne traffic, and then motorways, and by the end of it, it was 3.9 litres per 100.
Holy crap.
The guy who got out of the car beside me was driving one of the petrol models, the 2-litre petrol. His was 7.5.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, what are you doing in a petrol Corolla?
There's a small price premium to pay for a hybrid over the regular petrol.
Only tiny small, though.
$1,500 or something?
$1,500.
Yeah.
And that's been, Sean Hanley, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing, who I've got something to play a little bit later on, but electric LandCruiser, by the way, so tune in for that. He made it clear that he didn't want hybrids to be an elitist thing. It should just be a variant like diesel or petrol. Or,
Exactly.
It's
like what the switch to diesel would have been a couple of years ago. You might pick diesels $1,500, $2,000 more.
Yeah.
Mate, you will pay $1,500 in options on things like sunroofs and things like that. You may as well get a hybrid.
A sunroof is usually worth more than $2,000.
I know. Do you know the last Corolla's sunroof was like $2,500 or something?
And it was this big. It was the size of a playing card.
What's it made out of? Like Cybertruck armor glass or something?
I hope not.
But that mentality around pricing hybrids close to conventional models. I mean, we've seen even in luxury brands, BMW with plug-in hybrids at the same price as a diesel, which is a really innovative way of thinking about that. But I also heard that 80% of people were still choosing the diesel. So, it's really what you need. But I think that, like you say, that particular size bracket with hybrid, if you can save 4 litres per 100 on fuel every 100 you do, that saving, that cost that you pay to get that saving is pretty minimal.
2 years.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. 2 years of driving and regular driving, and you'll recoup the money.
Yeah, which is unreal because it's inside a lease period, a reasonable
it.
lease period.
Totally.
So
So
if you're
if you're
getting one on a novated lease,
Yep.
before even your minimum lease period runs out, you've already paid for the benefit in fuel savings.
And look, and this is one of the good things about Toyota. Have been doing this for decades. Back when Elon Musk was driving V12 McLaren F1s, right, petrol powered and had no hair, right, they had their first Prius out. In 1995, the first electric concept or hybrid concept was announced at the Tokyo Motor Show. 1997, the Prius first generation came out. 2001, that Prius arrived in Australia. They've been doing it for decades, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So-
And that's, I mean, my question is, why would you need a Camry sedan then?
No, you don't. Because, and they even admitted it at the Toyota launch. So, like, the boot's actually only just a bit smaller than the Camry. Yeah. You don't. In the city, I mean, that's the joke, really. Like, the Corolla sedan hybrid is the perfect Uber. Because it's the right size. Externally, it's got plenty of room. Inside, it's got a big boot, and it's a hybrid.
Good price too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, CHR, obviously we've rated the CHR as one of the better small SUVs out there.
Great chassis.
Finally getting a hybrid engine, which it's been around in other markets pretty much since launch.
Yep.
And, we're 2.5-3 years into the life cycle of that car, and it's here now.
It's here now. And look, one of the disappointments of CHR in the past has been that underwhelming engine, right, with the CVT. And I can't go into too much detail yet, but having driven the hybrid, get the hybrid.
All right. And so, Richard, you also found out about some not so ready for production models.
Okay, so I got to sit down with Sean Hanley, who's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Toyota Australia.
Great guy, Sean. We love him.
Oh, Sean is like, he's got this high-level executive, but he feels like your uncle. But he's superb at interviews, right? Because he's the master of deflection. And I asked him about the possibility of an electric LandCruiser. And I knew that it was just like throwing a rock out into a river. You just didn't know whether it was going to hit the other side or if it was going to only make it halfway across. And I'll just play you something that Sean said to me. He didn't give everything away, but I was surprised by his answer because he did hint that there was something to come in the form of an electric LandCruiser. Let me just play this for you. We're seeing hybrid models or hybrid grades or variants come out across Toyota's ranges now. We're going to see a hybrid or an electric LandCruiser at some point.
No plans to announce today for sure, but we have a goal, and that's to reduce our CO2 footprint by 90% on 2010 levels.
Yeah.
So to achieve those types of results globally, we have to play a role. And of course, at some point over the next decade, then all our models, I think, essentially, maybe not all, but the majority of, will have some form of electrification.
Would that possibly include LandCruiser?
Oh, I couldn't rule it out. I don't have anything to announce today. There's certainly no plan afoot, but of course, our goal is to get to zero emissions.
Yeah, and that would help.
Yeah, so there's got to be changes in the way our cars and powertrains we use over the next years.
So there you go.
Yeah, well, that isn't saying no.
It's not saying no. It's actually admitting that there will be changes, and he did go on to also mention. He said, "Look, I just want to say to all the LandCruiser loyalists out there that no matter what we do with LandCruiser, it will always be the capable vehicle that you've come to know and love." So, to me, especially him saying, "I've got nothing to announce today."
Yeah.
Like often with the executives, and we've been doing this for a little while now. They'll often just shut you down if it's not happening.
Yeah.
And the fact that he said, "I've got nothing to announce today, but we do need to reach this emission target," and then he went on to say that whatever happens with the LandCruiser, I just want to assure, the LandCruiser fans out there and all Toyota loyalists that it will retain its capability.
Well, the biggest emitters in the Toyota stable are LandCruiser, Prado, LandCruiser 70 Series, and Hilux.
Well, they've already talked about hybrid Hilux as well.
Yep. I wrote a story out of the Tokyo Motor Show with Sean Hanley as well, and he's an extremely knowledgeable guy. He knows everything that's happening in the next 10 years in that company, and he answers questions very well. And I love to interview him. He's one of those guys who's a wealth of knowledge, and the way he skirts around those difficult questions is really good.
I would love to shoot him with like a dart that has like a truth serum in it, right? And just go, okay, Sean, it's recording.
He knows too much.
Is LandCruiser coming, right? What's happening now? Do you have any robots? What about airplanes? Spaceships?
They do have robots. I saw some of their robots in Tokyo as well.
Was that the basketball one?
Yes.
Are they hybrid too?
No, just electric.
Fully electric.
Fully
Fully electric robots. Imagine a petrol robot.
All right, moving along. Tom, thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Tom, you've been over in Germany. Well, not Germany, actually. Was it Spain first?
Yeah, Spain and then Germany. It was a bit of a double whammy.
It was a big trip. But
a big trip.
The most important thing that you drove over there is an all-new SUV from Mercedes-Benz. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so look, Mercedes-Benz release new cars all the time. It's very rare that they launch a new nameplate altogether. And so this time we've got the GLB. So A and B. They're the
C, D.
A, B, C, yeah. So A and B are the compact class vehicles. So obviously we've already got A class in its second generation now. We've got B class, and that's also in its second generation. And now this one is an all-new SUV because you've got the GLA, which is just an A class, lifted up A class, and this one, but it's not just a lifted up B class. And it's also, so it goes into battle against, BMW's X1, obviously, and Audi's Q3, but it's nothing like either of those. It's a completely different take on this kind of small SUV formula. First of which, it's not really that small. It's almost the size of a Land Rover Discovery Sport, which is interesting.
Holy cow, that's big.
Yeah,
so it's like almost RAV4-ish.
That's right.
in its dimensions.
Medium-sized
but
almost,
it's narrow. So it's not as wide as what we would consider to be a mid-size SUV.
Okay.
So it's still got kind of these trim dimensions, but it's a little long. It's almost like it's a long wheelbase version of like a B class in that sort of way. Anyway, so it launched over in Europe. It won't come to Australia until mid-2020.
Yep.
So probably, I don't know, after June, I think was the implication there. And they're hoping it will cost somewhere between what GLA currently is. There is a new GLA coming.
Oh, good.
And,
I was going to ask you about that because obviously this car fills the niche of a more practical smallish SUV for people who want a Mercedes-branded such vehicle. And GLA has always been, well, it was kind of criticised for being not quite SUV-ish enough by a few people because it was more like a crossover.
So they weren't really elaborating on what was going to happen with GLA.
Right.
Other than there's a new one that is imminent.
Right.
We will see it before the end of the year.
Right. Well, that's good.
What,
Yep.
our year or their year? I mean, we all have the same year. We all have.
It's
we do
2019.
know- We all have the same year. So they got there in 2019 as well.
Yeah,
They are.
the Europe year. Yeah.
Do they mean like their summer, or do they mean their?
No. So there will be a reveal before the end of 2020.
No way.
2020 or 2019?
No, 2019. Sorry, I've confused myself. God damn it, Richard.
he
It's
confused
the
you with
It's the Europe year.
It is.
But that's sooner than we thought.
Yes.
I sort of expected it might
Yeah.
debut a little later, maybe Geneva.
Yes,
Because it is the end of the year right now.
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it was whether they were implying it would be a full reveal, but all the quote I got was, "You'll see it before the end of the year."
Okay.
So it might just be like another teaser image. I don't know. But anyway, so the point is we'll see a GLA, and they were very sort of, because the GLB is as narrow as a GLA, but almost as long as a GLC, they were kind of at pains to sort of explain how they came up with this idea
right.
of what the GLB actually was. So they were saying, okay, you can think of it like this, right? You're looking for an SUV, it's a Mercedes-Benz, and you're looking in this bracket. Maybe you want a GLA, maybe you want a GLC, but here's how the breakdown's going to be, is GLA is going to be your sporty option, GLB is going to be your practical option, and GLC is going to be your premium option.
Okay. I see it. Yeah, all right.
If that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
So, and the other thing with GLC that separates it out is it's on sort of this more premium platform. It's not on the compact platform.
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's got the straight six engine as well.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And that's going to be a big separator for them. Is going to be okay. Well, you can get these premium drivetrains, premium platform
For GLC.
For GLC,
Even though they're not too dissimilar in terms of overall exterior dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
Looking at your pics though, and if you haven't seen Tom White's images, he's a bit of a photographer, and they look amazing. But it does. It's a bit. He's great. It does look huge. It looks like a mini GLS.
Yeah, and look, it is controversially styled. So
Yeah.
one thing going into this is, we're talking about it got revealed and everything. It's got these kind of chunky lines and weird, like the lines that don't match up is the big one. So
Yeah,
it's
there's
got
like
this.
a little hip.
Yeah, it's got a weird little hip over its rear axle, and then there's like a bonnet shut line that doesn't match the rest of the lines across the car.
Right, okay.
And they've got these sort of flat light fittings that come across the front, and you can get the 35 has the AMG grille, which will probably annoy some purists.
Yeah.
But I find in real life, looking at it, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's really fun to look at. And that's not something you can say, because I feel like Mercedes in the last couple of years have worked their way towards homogenizing their range so much that all their cars sort of look the same.
Well, yeah, the compact range in particular, the A-Class and CLA class have got that real sort of sleek back, pinched headlights and really smooth surfaces. This is a much more, visually intriguing car.
Is.
And I think that's part of the reason that it's going to be successful, but also 7 seats.
7 seats, yeah. So you can.
How is that possible?
It's an option. Well, here's the thing, right? So
tell me how that works.
So it's an option.
Yeah.
Don't know how much any of this is going to cost yet.
Right.
They want to pitch it between sort of 66K is where GLC starts and 44K is where GLA starts. So probably 50s, maybe mid-50s, I'd say. And we're only going to get, there are 6 drivetrains available internationally. We're only going to get 3. So we're going to get the 1.3 litre, which you'll might recognise from the A-Class. There's going to be a 2 litre, which is actually pretty cracking, and that's the 250. That'll be the mid-range, and then there's a 35 as well, which is going to have an AMG drivetrain. They said there's not going to be a 45.
Yep.
No 45.
Okay.
It just doesn't suit the character.
All-wheel drive, any front-wheel drive?
So the 200 will be front,
Yep.
250 will be all,
Yep.
and 35 will be all as well.
Yeah,
and yes, so it's 7 seats, which is fascinating. That's going to be an option.
Is it X-Trail? Like, do you need to talk my language? Is it X-Trail size? Is it like
4.6 metres?
Yeah.
4.6 meters. That's about X-Trail.
Yeah.
So it's about the length of an X-Trail, but it's narrower. And here was the catch. So I didn't think that there would be any chance, remotely any chance, that I would fit in the back seats, right? And Mercedes even say, they're like, no, these seats are for kids, and they pitch your max tallness, your max height at
The Germans do this.
Yes.
So they pitch it as 162 centimeters, which I'm 182, so
that's bigger than that.
I was expecting to have my head sort of like 90 degrees,
A crook neck.
No. So not only do I fit in there, but they've designed this thing to like a micron in the back. So where the back of the rear seats meet the boot, there's like nothing in it. And so you sit in there and my head fits. It's on the roof, but it fits. So I don't need to bend it at all.
Is your back on the tailgate? Is that
basically, yeah?
So if you get hit from behind,
He's the bumper.
You're the bumper butt. So
five-star safety for everyone except rear passengers. No, but so the way they've designed the middle row is it's on. Not only is it on rails, so you can adjust your leg room, but I set every seat to my position, which is comfortable with a little bit of knee room, and I fit in the rear seats not only with my head on the roof, but I had knee room, and they've designed it so that the second row is up far enough that you can slip your toes under the seat in front.
So important.
Yeah.
Being able to fit your toes. Because if you can't fit, you think about your legs. This is an interesting topic. Think about your legs.
Your legs or
your legs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whose legs. Unless they've got really, really, really small feet. But your feet are the problem when it comes to space in a third row. Because if you don't have anywhere to put your feet, then your knees are going to be higher up.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
that be able to fit your feet under the second row is a really important design consideration.
Yeah.
And a lot of them struggle with that because either the second row seat is on a rail system
There's
and they
electric
can't make it
systems or
work,
vents.
electric systems.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons why you can't make it work. Great to hear that they have figured out a way.
It was actually a really, really
Are
surprising.
your feet going through the floor and maybe possibly hanging below the car?
Flintstone
Did
style.
you look to see if there's a...
But look, I don't know how they've made it all. I don't know how they've packaged it up so well, but they have. I fit in there.
Probably
and
because they're experts at car design.
probably
They've been doing it for a while. What,
I mean-
1895?
Yeah.
Speaking
had
of-
good toe room in that one as well. Yeah.
Speaking of X-Trail, though, like one of those main competitor to that, the Mitsubishi Outlander, I had a 7-seat on test and I couldn't fit in that rear seat, even though it's dimensionally larger. This is just a brilliant piece of design, and it's actually fun to drive as well. So
We can watch Tom's review,
There's
the
a
full
review.
Is it up?
detailed video review.
it is up. It's
Would
up.
it be, in terms of the YouTube thumbnails, would it be that way? You'd be able to see it be in the thing.
It'll be somewhere.
It'll be in the little thing where you see the things.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
see it.
Anyway,
Yeah, Tom.
thank you for that, Tom. We'll move on to some more cars. If you didn't realise, we like to talk about cars.
Yeah.
This week,
Is that
in
what
our
people come here for?
in our garage this week, we've been testing a bunch of different vehicles.
Oh.
Myself, I've been in the Ford Ranger Wildtrak X, which
What makes it an X?
it's more expensive.
Oh,
Oh, you're welcome.
Is it much more expensive?
It's $2,000 more than the regular Wildtrak versions.
What do you get for that?
You get $6,000 worth of extra value.
I hate when they say that
does
because it's
that
not
mean?
costing them $6,000.
No, it doesn't cost
they
them $6,000.
They say you're getting $6,000, but they're not.
They're saying if
Yeah.
you individually spec'd up those things yourself,
Yeah.
it would cost you $6,000.
That's a false economy.
Well, it is, but it's a good way of making you go, wow, that's good value.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's what we used to charge you for these things. Now they're
Now,
included.
A pack.
You know what it says to me, though? It's like, well, if you can do that now, then why weren't you doing it before? I'm sorry.
Anyway, so the Wildtrak...
Mr. Pritchard's just doing this in the background.
Yeah,
It's like,
money.
yeah.
The Wildtrak X, like the regular Wildtrak, gets the choice of the 3.2-litre engine or the 2-litre twin turbo, both with automatic transmissions. Mine was the 3.2. I've been spending more time in the 2-litre more recently, and it just made me realise how much better the 2-litre is.
Yeah.
In terms of lag, just getting away from the line quickly, more refinement, more quietness, and it's just a better engine. So if you're thinking about a Wildtrak, get the 2-litre. That's my advice.
It's copped a lot of heat, that 2-litre, but it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really good, and I mean the value that you get now, because $6,000 worth, you get a black pack for the styling, including extended wheel arch flares, black wheels, a nudge bar with a light bar, and snorkel.
I saw that down in the garage. It does look good.
It does look good.
Yeah.
And it was quite an impressive vehicle. Now, we've got a 2020 review coming of that. It is actually a 19.75 model year car.
What does that mean? November? Really?
Yeah. So it's the final quarter of the 2019 model. And there will be a 2020 update for Ranger coming, as Tom has pointed out in his Ranger Raptor review. And there's more to come from Ranger. So, God, can we get any more Rangers in our garage? We seem to drive them every couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well,
but they're just so good.
We've had 3 back-to-back, haven't we?
Yeah,
Or
I know.
something, yeah.
It's been a bit like that. But Tom, you've also been driving a Ute.
Yeah, I have. I was behind the wheel of the Mitsubishi Triton GLS.
Talk about
auto.
Desert Shield, or what's the
Dynamic
dynamic shield?
Dynamic
Yes.
shield. Yeah, it's got the dynamic shield face, but ours was covered up a little bit because it had a whole bunch of factory accessories. So I think the big catch with the Triton is that it is great value. I think we can all agree on that. And
Big catch.
well, yeah,
What's the-
it's kind of the thing that draws you
Oh,
in.
okay. Yeah.
Not the catch.
Not the catch.
Like,
The catch
it's
it's good value.
The catch.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest benefit.
Yeah.
Is what he means.
We're just
Yeah.
We're just pulling.
It's
up
the
on,
big.
like,
It's the big.
proper
I don't know.
language.
You
the
know
selling
it.
point.
The
selling
big
point.
hook.
The
Yeah.
hook.
What
Yeah.
gets you on?
The big
Well,
hook. Like Maui's hook.
when you fish,
And when you fish in the
catch with a
sea
hook.
of in-market buyers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see what's happening.
Wow.
here.
Anyway, GLS.
Right, yeah, GLS. So, accessory pack. The GLS is kind of the how do we say this, upper mid spec?
Yeah, it's second from top.
Yeah.
It's upper middle class.
So the MSRP on that is $47,640.
But you're never going to pay that.
But you're never going to pay that. That's the MSRP.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that if you go to a Mitsubishi dealer and you say, I'm not paying more than $42,990 to drive away for this GLS model, they'll say, okay.
Yeah. And especially, what date are you guys watching this? Because if you go at the end of the month, that's the time to buy a car. Because those dealers, especially as you come to the end of the year, they are trying to sell.
MY19, plate run out.
Yeah. Well, also a tip from the inside, if you are considering buying a car before the end of the year...
Are you going to sell your car? Is that what you're doing here?
Not selling the Jimny. No way.
Don't sell the Jimny.
If you are considering buying a new car... Between Christmas and New Year's is a very, very good time to get a very strong deal because people are trying to meet their end of year targets, not end of financial year, but it also, there's no one shopping. So
no one's shopping, and those sales guys are just walking around showrooms waiting for you to come in. And
looking at the
Campbell,
balloons.
Dealers hate him.
The ball's in your court.
Wacky waving, inflatable man just sort of doing this, and no one's there. They're all at Myer looking at the Boxing Day sales.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Go then.
Anyway,
so you get the same 2.4 litre engine. The Triton's it's kind of renowned for having a pretty decent engine. It's 133 kilowatts, 430 newton meters, and so ours had. Now let me have a look here. It was some $6,500 worth of options.
Yes.
So it had a genuine Mitsubishi bull bar on the front.
And they can be pricey.
Little fog lights built into it, and that alone was $4,000.
$4,000, which is a lot, but you have to consider that these design specifically, so aftermarket designers have to buy a car and try and make it work. This is designed from the factory, but also designed for the safety systems.
Yeah, so you got to remember these days, it's really, don't get your uncle to weld you together a bull bar because it'll probably...
Uncle Sean, he would weld you together a bull bar?
Not for a Triton.
Not for a Triton.
For a Hilux.
For an
light
electric
There you go,
LandCruiser.
Richard. Genuine Toyota pass.
Anyway, there was also some other stuff.
There was an LED light bar, a tow kit, and a soft tonneau cover, and all of that came to about $6,500. But it didn't come with a tub liner, which is another $600. So if you wanted to have really all the kit you kind of need to make it super usable,
and you do need a tub liner.
You do need a tub liner,
unless you don't like the paint of your tray.
Yeah, well that's it, because it gets scratched.
Oh, so quickly.
Yeah.
We've done tests where we forklift in 750 kilos.
Yeah.
And because there's no tub liner, there's also no friction for the weight to sit on comfortably. And the metal basically is slippery. So you'll see, even if you secure it at 4 points, it'll still slide around a little bit. You'll damage your metalwork. Anyway.
Can you get, you know how I damaged the Ranger?
Yes, I remember this.
And it looked worse.
It was minor. It was minor.
I sent you the photos, and it looked worse than it did in the photos. But it was because I dropped a bit of wood on the side of it.
Yeah.
Can you get like a protective cover which goes around the side of the tray? Because I dropped it on and went and I put like a dimple in it. Surely there must be
up the top of the rail. I don't know whether you can, but if you've got, I don't know. We'll have to investigate that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so it probably comes to about $53,000, and that's MSRP. So that's before you have your potential dealer cost, or as you say, dealer savings.
Yes, savings.
But that does still make it not. It's not much more expensive than the equivalent Hilux without any of those extras fitted.
Yeah.
Right. So the Hilux is something to the effect of $3,000 to $4,000 more for the equivalent spec.
Yeah.
The only trouble is, so it's good value. It's got auto emergency braking, and I think it was blind spot, but it doesn't have lane keep assist or active cruise, which is a bit of a bummer. But the interesting thing is you're still undercutting that Hilux by quite a bit, no matter which way you cut it.
And that's the thing with Triton. It's always been a value-heavy proposition.
Yeah.
Might not be the best ute, but geez, it does a lot well for less money.
Yeah, it sure does. Look, there are some areas where you can see where they've skimped out on that money. So my least favourite part of it potentially was the seats.
Yeah.
They're the same seats that the Triton has had for the better part of 15 years.
But they're comfortable.
They're okay.
They're more comfortable than most utes. But my issue with let's get into issues with the Triton.
Oh, yes.
My issue with the Triton is that you feel like you have the windscreen pillars just sort of eating into your headroom. It's got a very steeply raked windscreen. Anyway, let's talk about another car with a steeply raked windscreen, the BMW 330i Touring.
That's
Richard?
what I have been in this week. I've only just got into it, actually, but you'll see the lovely videos that I took of it last night. On top of a car park, just me and the most beautiful BMW in the world. Actually, it's the most BMW in the world
very
as well.
Erotic.
A little bit. I have a thing for wagons, and especially BMW wagons and Audi wagons. I think they look just. What
was that noise?
Seriously, the BMW 330i Touring, and it's the M Sport package on it, is the most BMW you can get, and that is, and especially in that grey, as you can see that the business class grey,
Frankfurt smog grey,
is the Berlin curtain sales ring guy. It's the most BMW of BMWs. And I love how Mercedes-Benz has kind of yo-yoed like some type of comfort eater over the years in terms of what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Am I blingy? Am I soft? Am I sporty? And their design sort of sways here and there, and they're all over the shop. BMW have stayed firm forever.
Yeah.
You look into the interior, as we're probably looking at the images now going on behind us. It's the same stacked center console that we've seen for 2 decades. Yet it's been updated, with the new generation 3 Series, and so it looks beautiful. Got that instrument cluster; it's amazing. You've got that integrated display, which looks so cool. But if you've been a BMW driver for the last 20 years, you're not going to feel out of place in this. It does feel very hard. You get into a Mercedes, and it's soft and it's cushy and it's comfortable. And you get into a BMW, and it feels like everything's made of marble.
Yeah,
everything feels rock hard.
Yeah, the other thing Benz does well is they bling up the interiors a bit. Like there's a bit of wow factor to everything in there.
Nothing like that at BMW.
Yeah, the BMWs are just straight. It's like ultra business.
Yeah, it's also the ultimate knowing nod car. Now you guys will know this, and car people out there will know it as well. When someone sees your car, it doesn't matter what it is, S15 or an A45, you're waiting at the traffic lights, and people walk across the road. They just give you a good choice. So,
a little knowing nod.
Yeah, and the BMW Touring 330i is that car as well. People walk across going, "You didn't go an SUV, well done. You got a Touring, well done."
The 330 as well.
Exactly, because it's not an X1 or X3 or X5.
Yeah,
it's a wagon. It's a conscious decision.
Looking forward to reading your review of it. It sounds good so far. Now, everyone, it's time for our favourite time of week, which is MuskWatch. Okay, so what a week it's been for the man behind Tesla. Woo! The Cybertruck was revealed last week at an event, which has been described by some as disastrous, embarrassing, debaucherous,
a joke,
messy, but also groundbreaking.
A little bit sexy.
Yeah, it was clearly not rehearsed. There were elements of it that were really bad. But anyway, the ute thing, right? It's a ute thing. It's not a ute. It's not a pickup. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's 6 meters long and apparently capable of towing up to 6.5 tons. That's if they build it and it makes it to production and it comes in 2023.
Wow.
But don't worry, because you can place a pre-order to pre-order it.
Yeah, you can.
$100 or $150?
$100.
So $100, and they've had, as of now, of the podcast recording the podcast, $250K.
$250K was a tweet from Elon yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
So that's $2.5 million.
Hang on.
Is that right?
They're not really orders. Let's clear this up. They're not really orders.
But they're taking the money, right?
You're putting a holding deposit that will essentially be used as a crowdfunding initiative for the brand. They're using capital from customers to make cars.
Who needs investors when you can get customers to just give you money
and drive it
for something that isn't going to exist for 2 years?
So
maybe
250,000. It could be 300,000 by now. At $100 means $25 million.
What?
Of R&D.
I said 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were wrong.
I was way off. Lucky I'm not doing their numbers.
I'm not so.
maybe, I don't know.
I'm not so sure about this as a means of raising capital, but
It is peak Silicon Valley, isn't it?
M4 though, didn't we? I mean, actually, even Tom would have been around when Model 3 pre-orders went on sale as well, and it was the same thing. People lined up for hours outside Tesla shops.
And
It almost
do
tanked
this.
that scheme. Almost tanked the company as well.
Yeah.
It did.
Because they
and
couldn't meet their pre-orders.
people were laying down $3,000 or $5,000 at a time for that, and you can pre-order the Roadster, and I think it's a $10,000 pre-order fee.
Wow.
It's crazy, and I mean,
You can buy a car for $10,000.
it's a different way of doing business.
Yeah.
But the stock market was obviously a little bit worried after the news of the Cybertruck came out.
How much did it fall by?
Elon's worth saw a $770 million hit.
Oh my God, that's huge.
And
Is that huge?
I
I don't know.
I don't know what it is to him.
do you,
Yeah, I
do you-
know.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of what $770 million
I've got about
feels like?
$754 in the bank. So to me, anything over that is a lot.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Journo life.
Yeah. So, but also, according to High Snobciety, which is an interestingly named site, Elon Musk was left upset, bewildered and dumbfounded when the apparently armoured glass failed
Ooh.
in front of millions of people live streaming the event.
He swore.
He did.
He said, "Oh my God."
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Now the share price dropped from last week's $354.83. It's currently $331.29. It dropped a little bit before that.
Now's the time to buy Tesla stocks.
Hold on a sec. We looked yesterday to see how inflated Tesla stocks actually are, remember? Mm-hmm. And we were looking at how much was Ford worth?
Ford was $9.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
GM was $33.
Yep. So there's, think about the amount of inflated speculation there is in Tesla stock if it's worth that much money.
Isn't it? That's a joke.
That is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying that a Tesla stock, one share is worth 140 times more than one share. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not a share market guy, but that sounds like a rough deal.
Oh, I'm not a share market guy, and it does.
But in good news for internet users, everyone on the planet, pretty much, the silliness of the Cybertruck launch has seen some great return serves from people out there. So Hyundai Canada's CEO threw a rock at the window of a new Hyundai Venue SUV and it didn't crack.
And that's just regular glass.
Just standard glass. And after that, he said, "Eat your heart out, Elon Musk."
He did.
All sans greatest glass.
Yeah.
I love when Canadians try to be aggressive because they're still nice.
You got to watch the video.
Eat your heart out, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
It's like it wasn't.
He wasn't angry.
You just still wanted to give him a cuddle.
Yeah.
You just wanted to give him a cuddle.
Ford also came out in response to the seemingly very biased video showing the tug-o-war between the Cybertruck and an F-150, the latter of which didn't really seem to be all-wheel drive. It seemed to be rear-wheel drive, and as such, it got pulled up a hill. So no surprises there. There's been a bit of back and forth between a senior Ford exec who wanted to do an apples with apples test, but the company later called out the absurdity of the video tug-of-war. Well, you wouldn't put apples against a Tesla.
Well, that'd be ridiculous. That's not,
Or is there an Apple car that's taking on the Tesla?
I think they talked about that and decided not to.
I think that capped off a pretty absurd week in general.
I couldn't believe it. Got to say, I'm still expecting Elon to tweet something saying "lol jokes."
He actually did tweet "lol, did it for the memes." So anyway,
$768 million memes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just watching him have to go through the rest of that presentation with the two smashed windows behind him the whole way through.
And hang on a minute. The other thing we have to talk about is there's no way this thing can make it to production. Like it looks like a pedestrian Slaughterer 9000.
Well, ANCAP has come out and said it's not looking good for pedestrians in this case.
And seriously, it looks like something out of 90s Robot Wars.
It does,
if you haven't seen a picture of it, it's like something someone would trot out with a little flipper on the front.
The thing which goes boom.
I feel like we could talk about the Cybertruck forever, but we have reached the finish line for this week. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
And always thank you to Mr. Pritchard for his amazing pre and during and post-production wizardry and telling us that we've run over time. Please pass on the word about the podcast. Let us know your thoughts by searching CarsGuide on Facebook and Instagram and using the hashtag CGPodcast, or email us at comments@carsguide.com.au. Listen to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a review. And also you can watch us on YouTube if you haven't been watching us so far. Yeah. And there's no joke this week. I'm going to leave that for James.
Do you want to hear a joke?
I like to leave it for James.
But, all right. No, it's fine.
No,
right.
All right, go on.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so...
Is it rude?
No, it's not, and I've told you already, so you have to laugh again. Okay, so this man walks into a bookshop, and he says to the lady behind the counter, do you have any books on turtles? And she goes, hardback? And he goes, yeah, with little heads.
See you next time.
Bye.